and just put someone in with PTSD and in a tumultuous relationship in a strange country setting. Oh man, it's gonna make for a creepy vibe and a good read. You want me to love you, but you don't love me now. Why should I give my heart to you? We gonna shut that motor down. I've been searching for you for a long time now, but you've left my heart's vision. Now you want me to stay in your life. That won't happen again. No, you said no. I said no. Can't blame you. No. That's I like that book. I like that book. Is it? So, I read a book this week. It was by author Claire Douglas. You just gonna run up in here with all that revving of the engine? Why your RPMs gotta be in 1800 when I'm trying to shoot? I like that book. It's up on you now. You just gonna keep on rocking your tandems like that? See, these truck jobs, boy, I tell you. And so the book is by Claire Douglas, and the novel is called Last Seen Alive. When I tell y'all that I had all kinds of mixed emotions reading this book, I'm talking about I'm ready to give this book a 3. I'll be ready to give this book a 2. And then the next day, because I read, a twisty-turny scene, and I like that scene, I'm ready to give the damn book a 5. I'm dead serious, man. It was a great plot. All kind of skill when it come to the twisting and the turning and the corkscrewing of the scenes that's going on. The characters I feel like was relatable. A lot of them was relatable. And again, this book was made off of the twists. Without the twists, this book probably would have got a very low rate. I actually read the paperback. I'm not gonna be on Libby. I'm not, I wasn't no audio or nothing like that. And what sucks is I'm all the way down here in a place called Stevenson, Alabama, picking up a load. And I finally got around to shooting a video, and I forgot the damn paper book. I wanted to hold it up. You be seeing them, the people on YouTube talking about book, and they be holding it and playing with it and smacking themselves in the face and things of these natures. Can't do none of that. And as usual, it is hot. So y'all rock with your boy. So today, believe it or not, I'm gonna be on Goodreads. Libby Hall never really wanted to be noticed, but after she saves the children in her care from a fire, she finds herself headline news and horrified by the attention. It all reminds her of what happened 9 years ago, the last time she saw her best friend alive, which is why the house swap is such a godsend. Libby and her husband, Jamie, exchanged their flat and bath for a beautiful, secluded house in Cornwall. It's a chance to heal their marriage, to stop its secrets tearing them apart. But this stylish Cornish home isn't the getaway they'd hoped for. They make odd, even disturbing discoveries in the house. It's so isolated, yet Libby doesn't feel entirely alone. Where am I at? As if she's being watched. Is Libby being paranoid? What is her husband hiding? And as the secrets and lies come tumbling out, it's the past about to catch up with them. I think what makes this story is the uncertainty. She's running from something. She got this house swap opportunity available to her, but it's something in her past that we don't know about that's slowly revealing itself by way of horrifying discoveries and things like that while they're at this fake ass Airbnb house swap situation. And there's people watching them, there's weird noises in the house and things like that, and she's just feeling real paranoid, and slowly but surely you start realizing something isn't right. And so there's also a domestic story. There's a subplot here of a family and friendship and ex-girlfriends and things like that also tie into the main plot very, very beautifully, and you can learn a lot from the story. In this story, we kind of discover and just go on a journey of of a few themes, man. Like, one of them is, you know, nowhere is safe. You know, if you run it from your past, nowhere is safe, because, you know, in the words of the great Eddie Griffin, the comedian, everywhere you go, there you are. You can't outrun yourself. You know, whatever's bugging you is going to continue to bug you, and I hope like hell whatever it is that's chasing you is intangible or physical, you know, external, because if they catch up to you, then, you know, it can be even more dangerous. But depending on what's going on, you know, ain't no place safe for a lot of these protagonists that we read about. And another dynamic is who to trust. You know, we got that calm and reassuring husband, right, as we read, because we along with Libby, like, hey, something ain't right here, what's going on? Or do you trust, you know, the paranoid, off-kilter, ringing of the alarms wife? You know what I mean? Who do you trust? Who do you run by? And so that's just another theme at play, how the relationship can be caught off guard by those opposing perspectives. Another one, like I said, that I caught was the family dynamics. No extended family should be this tough and this rough to Libby Hall, the main character. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant to put someone like this, Libby Hall, who is obviously suffering from PTSD after saving children from a fire, into a situation like this, where her anxieties are basically at the extreme, because weird things keep happening in this house. And you see her husband have to be that calm and reassure husband damn near every chapter. Just put someone in with PTSD and in a tumultuous relationship in a strange country setting. Oh man, it's gonna make for a creepy vibe and a good read. It's hot. The people came up with the idea, and their house is way nicer. Like, why? And the reason is, you know, they have a daughter who's in the hospital about to do a very serious procedure, and they just want to be closer to said hospital, and they reached out to, you know, Libby or whatever. But whatever the case is, just follow along with the story. You probably would have got the hell out of Dodge, but for the sakes of entertainment, they stayed, and watch how stuff goes progressively wrong. But the problem lies, or the conflict comes in, when we start to realize slowly but surely that Libby is hiding something. And then of course Jamie is hiding something. And people from the past, you get a whole nother perspective around the halfway mark, or a little past the halfway mark. Stuff completely shifts. Like, the twist is just going to be amazing. It gained a lot of basis points just based off of that dynamic and that skill that I saw her pull off in this book. She just keep the fast-paced, panicky feel and tone and vibe going all throughout this book. Like, the ending of chapter 2 is, what can possibly go wrong, or how can things go wrong, or something like that. Like, you're like, all right, let me flip to the page, because we know some stuff about to go down. And again, the symbolism of the fact that it's raining damn near all throughout the book, you know, that got something to do with the tone. A great deal was made, I believe, to make Libby an empathetic character. You know what I mean? She's saving people from fires. She just practically being bullied by her extended family. You know, anybody that, like, again, save kids and colleagues from fires, it's just somebody gonna be like, okay, that's cool. You know, I want to look out for this character. She has a broken arm, she had a miscarriage, so she's definitely someone to be felt for. She became very, very unlikable when part 2 hit, right? When it's sort of like a flashback or whatever, an extended flashback, and we start to understand, you know, the motivations and why these characters are the way they are. She became very, very unlikable. The things that she would do, the things that, you know, the way she would act, and how vindictive and things like that. I'm like, man, I don't really like this character. And you know, that empatheticness or whatever, the empathy that you have for her, it kind of went out the window in a little bit when you was reading about the halfway mark in Inowen. So again, with this twist, man, just finding out she was more unreliable than I assumed. It was tasty. It was very, very delicious when you got to that point, because it's just like very satisfying. Definitely with some beautiful sentences. He shuffled and looks uncomfortable, his eyes sliding away from mine. Why would he be doing that? He mumbles. And this is a sentence in passing, but it basically described the eerie uncertainty that all of the readers is going to have when reading this book. There isn't a type who ends up with abusing men. And that's in the flashback scene when one of the characters is explaining to another character who asked, like, oh, I didn't think it would be, you know, you who ended up with a man who abused you. And she's saying, like, there isn't no type. You know what I mean? Anybody can be, you know, the victim of somebody who would do that. There's fear in her eyes too. It gives me a surge of energy, of purpose, like an electric charge. I just want to say, if you ever have dominion over somebody like that and you feel this right here, you need to pray. You need to pray. That's not good. That's a demon on you. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to get excited because you see somebody fearful of you. Lies. There will always be lies. The little white lies we can't bring ourselves to tell our spouses, our friends. Sometimes it's to protect them, and sometimes it's to protect ourselves. Powerful quote. In the trucking industry, sometimes it's a lot of switching over that we doing. And I had what I call a manual transmission right here, and of course they took that from me and put me back in the automatic, and so had to do a lot of truck switching over. So this might be the new setup, and so we're gonna rock back into this right here. All right, so there's definitely a few takeaways that I gathered from this book, man. Like, it was very, very insightful, very, very insightful. Outside of Libby just running away from her troubles, which usually never works. I think one of the takeaways that I gathered was, you know, living in the country versus living in the city. You know, for most people, because it's 2020 on this here thing that we call the earth, people would rather live in a city, right, where we get public water, we get public electricity and things like that, right? Public gas. You know, there's grocery stores, you know what I mean? You call 911 and hopefully, you know, in less than 2 minutes, somebody's there to rescue you. You know, your damn house burned down, your house catch on fire, and boom, there's the sirens coming up the dang on street. There's people everywhere, and everybody seems very, very codependent on the city and the structure and what the government have set up. But I remember back in the days, right, in history, our ancestors and things like that was able to do a lot of things themselves, right? Whether it was farming, hunting, going out and gathering their own food and water and stuff like that, using the herbs and stuff from the fields and healing themselves. You know, if they was going to kill an animal, it was only to survive, and they was going to use everything about that animal, right? Use the fur and stuff like that to keep warm. And it's just a lot of different things that the country would you know, would do for somebody who have that kind of independent mindset. Maybe they want to get closer to God. Maybe they want to get back to what, you know, let's say the Amish, you know what I mean, what they do. Because if there was any kind of blackout, and I did an essay like this or a presentation in college, if there was ever a blackout and it lasted forever, the Amish will probably do way better than us that live in these cities and things like that. And just something to think about, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever thought about living with some people who live in the country for so long? And if you're from the country, have you thought about moving and trying the city? You may like that as well. Libby, she wanted to enjoy this house swap because it was secluded. Or she didn't enjoy living in the country so much because, you know, it was just, she felt alone, and she felt safer around people, and probably because she had a lot of PTSD and things like that, and anxiety. You know, anybody can be outside the doors in the country. So just a takeaway I thought that would be useful here. Mental health after a traumatic experience. It talked about her being a heroine for, you know, the fire event, you know, saving her friends and the kids and things like that, but it left her anxious and broken. You know what I mean? So what does it do us to be a hero, but we're shattered, and nobody wants to pay attention to the negative. Some people get better because of it, and some people can deteriorate if they don't, you know, seek corrective action and get help. Use old adages where you can, where it's appropriate, right? So there's this thing, especially in communities where I come from, and it's snitches get stitches. That whole mantra there, that entire mindset, left a lot of people who were violent and maybe killed somebody still running around the same community because everybody followed that adage. And I respect anybody who's living by that street code, right? I can't knock you for how you try to feed your family. I can't judge nobody for that. But what I can say is these adages that we use can be negative to the community or to people, right? And so in this story, one of the mantras was, we don't air out our dirty linen in public. Meaning Libby didn't want to go out and speak to a counselor with all of her mental issues and things like that, the PTSD, anything that she was going through because of all of these traumatic experiences. And I say, damn all that. Even the snitches get stitches. Somebody killed and I see that, oh, I'm going to the police. Call me a snitch. I don't live by them rules. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's all about bettering myself and bettering, the community that I'm living in, right? And so if I feel like I need to speak to a counselor because I can't get past something mentally, damn that old adage that you and your family talking about with the dirty linen. Go speak to somebody. It's no shame in trying to progress as a person. And when you have the dirty linen or whatever holding you back, then you're not doing nothing but harming yourself. You know what I mean? The same people who love you are the same people who will hurt you. They talk about she saved a kid. They say she saved kids and they held her. You know what I mean? They looked at her as a hero or whatever. And soon as rumors got around that she might not be the same person, she might not be the person that everybody thought she was. Rumors that we're talking about. You know what I mean? They was ready to throw her aside and just turn on her like this. And so, only person you can trust is yourself. Your mama told you that. Like, what is this friend? You ain't got no friends. I mean, that's just, of course, at the extreme, right? And exaggerated. But you got to keep in mind that, they even did that to Jesus Christ. They held him and then they killed him. So again, as soon as those rumors came around, nobody came to her aid. It's a cold world. Let it go. Let it go. The revenge is the Lord's. You know what I mean? You trying to be vindictive and get back to somebody, whether they made a mistake or they did something on purpose, it can backfire. You know what I mean? You holding on to this grudge for so long, and you ever had something that weighed on you so heavy you can't focus on what you need to focus on? Imagine doing that for years. It can destroy your life. You holding on to something, you trying to get revenge. You know what I mean? So if you can, let it go, move on. It's not worth them stressing you out anymore. Lastly, man, I think what this book did for me is told me specifically that girls need their fathers. They need their fathers to help rationalize, right? Put things in reason and in perspective and help balance out, you know what I mean, and bring stability to them. You know what I mean? I want my daughter to be able to run to me whenever she feel like she's off balance in some type of way. And you'll notice a lot of these women who have relationship problems and they don't have anybody to run to and things like that, their fathers are not around. Also, their mothers are not around. So girls need their fathers, their mothers. They need strong parents to be there for them. And so I'm speaking on the behalf of what I am and what I have. And so definitely something to pay attention to. And it goes back to the John Mayer song. Fathers, be good to your daughters. Whatever that song is. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. And so overall, I enjoyed this book. Definitely enjoyed this book. Again, I had the paperback, but I left it at home. It's on the piano next to the book I'm going to read next. And I just enjoyed it. It was a brilliant book. It took me on a whirlwind adventure with these characters. So I definitely recommend the book. I like that book is what I'm trying to say to you. And so, it's a new truck. I'm going to have to get used to it. It's a Peterbilt, if you guys know anything about trucks. But it's definitely the top echelon of the semis. And so, I'm that way. And so, peace. Charleroi out. Let that sink in.